This week on the iRacing Downshift, Greg takes direct control.
So I just made the executive decision and said that was okay.
Chris is late for his mattress delivery.
I am going to have the fastest Ford Edge ever out of the iRacing parking lot.
And Matt Lewis from Monster Games stops by to talk about the new update for World of Outlaws Dirt Racing.
Keep this thing going, keep it alive, and keep putting out more content for the fans.
All that and more, so strap in.
Welcome to the iRacing Downshift. I'm your host, Greg West. I'm back with the boys, Kevin, Bobbitt, and Chris Leone. We got a great show for you today. We got a console release we're going to talk about. Great special guest, Matt Lewis from Monster Games, is going to be joining us and regaling Kevin with all the updates that are in the 2023 edition of that title. We're going to talk about 15th anniversary stuff, some of our special events, and Chris is going to wrap it up with all of our eSports ongoings. So, how are we doing today, boys?
Excellent.
Excellent is good. Chris,
Excellent.
Chris, we're in a hurry today because Chris is getting a bed.
We are, yeah. I scheduled my mattress delivery for right about after this show wraps up because originally we were scheduled to do it first thing in the morning. We had to make a schedule change. And so now I am going to have the fastest Ford Edge ever out of the iRacing parking lot the second that we wrap up.
Watch out for that cop at the end of Apollo.
Yeah. Well, this will be good. You'll be talking really quick, like double time through the eSports updates, right?
Don't I do that already?
Yeah, it'll be Chris double time, which
That's
is like
fair. All right. Well, in the name of expedience, let's get right into it. What's up in iRacing? According to Chris's outline, 15th anniversary, Kevin. I saw you.
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. It's great that we've been around. We've been around what, 20 years? Been live for 15.
Yeah, that's right. We were formed in 2003. We went live with our product in 2008. Did I do my math right?
Good mental math.
Hey, pretty good, right? I've been rehearsing. So 15 years. We've come a long way. Anybody that's been around that long knows that. I mean, not that it wasn't great when we launched in 2008, but we had a few thousand customers then, right? We were pretty small. We were like, yeah, this is cool. Hopefully this takes off. I think it's turned into something that's been pretty worthwhile. It's been pretty fun to be around for as long as I have been to see us, go from development studio to launch to a small little niche thing. And now, I mean, sim racing is still a niche product, right? We're not totally mainstream, but we're getting there, and it's been fun. So we're doing a few things to celebrate that, right? There's 4 different series that have been running since the beginning of August, and I don't have the names in front of me, but that's okay. It's all running OG content, right? Check it out. You can earn an award, I think, if you do all 4 of them, right? So, and I think there's some credits to be handed out randomly for people who participate. So that's always fun. What else are we doing? We are doing some anniversary credits. Yep. So this is something unique. So basically, for every year that it's a little bit confusing to explain, right? So based on the initial start date of your account, so if you started in 2008, you'll get 15 credits, and you didn't have to keep it active the whole time, right? So we wanted to go out of our way to make it special for everybody, and we didn't want to, you lapsed for 1 day because you didn't have auto renew on, so that doesn't count. Basically, whenever you joined, whenever you started, we're counting how many years ago that was, and you'll get a credit for every year. So I'm getting 15 credits. How about you?
I'm getting 4. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I've worked here for 4. I'm getting 6. I'm getting 6.
Nice.
Credits.
Chris?
I think it was 12. I think
12,
it's 12.
Nice.
Wow. Right. Okay. Yeah. You're more of an OG than I thought.
Oh, yeah. He's been around a long time. He was in middle
Yeah.
school when he joined, I think. So.
And he still had that beard.
Yes, I did still have that beard in middle school. You are correct.
So anyway, it's a cool program. Check out the details. This story on the public side in the forums explaining it all. We just sent an email blast about it in case you didn't see that. So those will get deposited, I think, on the 26th, 27th, something like that.
I want to say 26, but check the forum post that I totally wrote that support
that
actually wrote for us. Yeah.
So towards the end of the month, anyway. You got to. And the other thing is, if you have to be active, right? So your account has to be active. So if you are listening and your account is currently inactive, but you joined in 2008, reactivate right now, and you'll get the 15 credits. So there's a little sales promo too.
A little impetus to sign back up.
Yeah.
And you're
Reactivate.
just in time for the build because we have a lot of new content coming that we're not going to discuss today.
Next show.
We
What?
just had a meeting about all the stuff that's coming, didn't we?
I
But
know,
we were
we
told
can-
we can't talk about it.
We can talk about the.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, and what
looking
about
forward to that?
And I can't wait to drive on. Yeah. all
Apparently,
those.
we're trying to kill listenership on our podcast by doing this. Right?
No, we're just getting hate mail. Remember, kevin.bobbitt at
here we go.
iRacing.com. That's where all of it goes. Oh,
Yes.
we don't claim to be good at our jobs. They just keep us around. So, all right, moving on. So we've had some special events recently. Most recently, Race for More 2.4, benefiting the National MS Society, just wrapped up. I know this because, once again, Chris does a great job on his outlines and makes it so I can just read it off. And thank you for that, Chris. I appreciate it. It makes my job easy.
How fun was that event, though? That was super fun.
That's my favorite event of the year because it's silly. You can give penalties. You get to find out teasers about new stuff. Greg Hill comes on and talks about all kinds of stuff. There was a video of rain. That's new. We've never done that before.
We always get to make fun of Steve. Right?
We get to make fun of Steve a whole lot. Chad Canales brings a lot to the broadcast. Nick Ottinger, former eNASCAR champion. Let's be honest, his back is probably still sore from carrying that team.
But he does a great job. He knows what he's getting into. He knows that the guys on his team are not up to his caliber, but he does carry the team. He helps them out. He's coaching them. I was listening on Discord on their channel, and he was coaching them through the corners and traffic and spotting. It was well done. So and it raised a bunch of money, right?
Over $36,000. So I think we've
Awesome.
raised in the last 3 years like something like $140,000 for the National MS Society.
That is awesome.
With
that is
one
awesome.
event a year, which is super cool. I have to admit, I think the funniest part this year was Chad Canales and Steve Myers and Nick Andre, they're down a lap from an early incident, and I think they're in last or second to last. And so Chad's donation was to give the entire GTP field a drive-through penalty, which almost put them back on the lead lap. It didn't actually change the standings like at all, but yeah, he penalized.
It was fun to watch all
field.
of them pull into pit lane like for their drive-through, right? There was just one after another. It's like, what, did they all run out of fuel? Oh no, penalties, got it.
Yep, it was that was pretty good. It was interesting. This is the first year they weren't in top split. I think they were in like split 9. So we have a lot of like the average type members that usually aren't featured on the broadcast. Having an opportunity to be up
Average
on the
I rating, not average people though. Come on,
average. Okay, average I rating. Fair enough. But I got to be honest with you, the racing was fantastic.
Yeah,
it might have been cleaner. Who knows? There wasn't the 20-car pileup on the first.
Yeah, maybe there's a little less stress behind the wheel when you're just doing it for fun, trying to raise some money. Like maybe that changes the mentality of things, right?
I mean, I did kind of go on before the race and say, "All right, guys, just behave, please."
Yeah. You've tried that before, and that doesn't always work either.
Oh man, stories for another
right, that's
time.
another podcast.
We also
can't get into those because Chris has to go get his mattress soon. So
yes, Chris has to get his mattress, and yeah. We got another special event this week, and this one's a little bit different, and it's a great segue into our guest because it's on dirt. It's the Knoxville Nationals on iRacing. This is not your normal special event on iRacing. This is not a one-day affair. This is one of our super sessions. So you have to do qualifying races throughout the week and score enough points. And so if you're in the top, I believe it's 30 for the Saturday race or the Sunday race. If you're in the top 30 of people that register, you make the main event. And that Saturday race is going to be broadcast by RaceSpot. I believe we're cross-posting those on our channels now. So you get an opportunity to race on all of iRacing's channels. So that will be incredibly cool. Always a good event for us. We're always trying to find more ways to have events like this on iRacing. While we're talking about dirt, Kevin, let's talk about the other news for World of Outlaws, the new console title.
Yeah, Tuesday, which was yesterday when we're recording, but I don't know when this is going out. But Tuesday of this week, we set the 2023 update came out, hit the virtual shelves. So the update's available at the PlayStation and Xbox stores. It's got the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series. It's got 3 new tracks, including the Chili Bowl, driver updates, all kinds of stuff. Tear-offs, Matt Lewis from Monster Games is going to be our guest, right? And he will get into detail on it because he knows it way better than we do. But it's pretty exciting. Been well received so far. But yeah, let's bring Matt in, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's weird because we just recorded Matt.
We did. So I don't want to spoil what he says.
Yeah, I know more now than I knew during the interview. It's like Inception. But anyway, without further ado, from Monster Games, Matt Lewis. All right, Kevin and I are back with our next guest. Matt Lewis joins us from Monster Games. Matt, thanks for making time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to talk through some stuff.
That's a pretty big week, huh?
Pretty big week. Coincidentally, just launched our 2023 update last night for Sony and Microsoft. Went really, really well. We're excited about the midgets, having the Extreme Outlaw midgets in the game and the Chili Bowl. And yeah, it's been really positive so far.
So awesome. For those people like myself who just met you 3 minutes ago and honestly had never had any conversation ever before this, let's talk. What is World of Outlaws? Some people don't know that this is just a secondary release. We had a great title release last year, and now we're following it up. Let's talk through maybe the backstory, the history of the game, and what's new.
I think we should start something else though. Maybe we should introduce Matt. We haven't introduced our guest.
Fine. We should introduce our guest.
How about Matt? You introduce yourself. How about that?
Yeah, Matt, introduce yourself. Come on, Matt. You're supposed to be the responsible adult here.
Hey, man, I'm just following instructions largely. So
I'm not. We did not send. So
I work for a company called Monster Games, which was acquired by iRacing about a year and a half ago now.
Yeah,
Kevin?
A year and a half ago, something like that.
Time zips. Prior to Monster Games, I was at 704 Games working on some NASCAR stuff. Before that, I was at eSports for what feels like an eternity. It was 15 something years. I used to work on the NASCAR games over there. So connecting the dots, the guy who hired me way back at EA, actually he was a former Papyrus guy, worked on NASCAR for about 7 or 8 years through all the NASCAR Thunder. So from like NASCAR Thunder 2002 through 2008, and then moved into more sort of marketing and publishing and licensing and that side of the business, more on the production side. Moved up here to Charlotte about 6 or 7 years ago to come into 704 Games with the NASCAR license, and then have been working more recently with Monster Games on the Tony Stewart dirt racing series, and then that led into World of Outlaws, which then led into our partnership with you guys and being acquired about 1.5 years ago.
All right,
great.
And that led to the World of Outlaws release last year, and now our most recent update.
Yeah, so we shipped the original game September of last year, and at the time we kind of had a DLC plan that took us to the end of that year, focusing obviously mostly on sprint cars and late models on the initial game. There was some other sort of smaller series, but then we added UMPs, we added some more tracks, we added big blocks, and just saw this like incredible passion from that fan base. And so, we kind of put our heads together and figured out what can we do to kind of keep this thing going, keep it alive, and keep putting out more content for the fans. And so, most recently, as I said, just last night, we put out another update. We introduced the midget series, which is relatively new for World of Outlaws. They brought them on board about 1.5 years or so ago. So we've added them to the game, added another 3 additional tracks, paint schemes, new drivers. And I just heard from Mr. John Schneider that we had a really good night last night for online participation and engagement. We had like our 3rd best night we've ever had. So super positive. Sounds like everybody's digging what we did, and we're happy to do it.
No, I was watching social media last night. And it was absolutely blowing up. There was a ton of people talking about it, and the midget coming to the title is a nice change of pace. I know Kevin and Steve on the marketing call right before this, Kevin and Steve Myers were raving about how fun it was. Now, Kevin, I don't know that he can actually get around the track, but you sounded like you were having fun with it, right?
Yeah, well, I did what everybody else did. I downloaded it last night and jumped right on, and of course, had to go and full throttle it and see if I could make it around the track, which I eventually did. But no, it's super fun. I hadn't played in probably a couple months. Played the heck out of it when we launched back in September, I think, and then I go through different games and different cycles. Probably like a lot of people, you play them for a while and then you put them aside. But now I'm back into it, so having a blast. I'll figure out how to drive it eventually. So congrats to everybody that worked on it.
I saw some videos, whatever, early this morning, if you want to call it that, I guess 1 or 2 a.m. of late models and 410s cooking it around the chili bowl. It was cracking me up. People were
wow.
yeah, late models like literally taking up the whole track, but they were doing it. They were making it work. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Only in a video game, right?
That's what's great about sim racing or video games is you can do those wild and wacky things. We see it, on iRacing all the time, the Mount Washington downhill or uphill, crazy things that you would never do. Yeah. So that's what makes this so fun, I think.
I don't think I've seen anybody doing the downhill Mount Washington in the 410 sprint, but maybe that's a week 13 idea we should bring to life.
Challenge right there.
That bad ideas that are made live during the podcast.
So whoever can do that with 0 X's, send us a replay, and Greg will send you 5 credits.
Kevin.bobbitt@iracing.com.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you.
He will take care of you in some capacity.
There we go. 5 credits to the first one that does it with the full replay.
Matt, let's get into some of the differences. There's more to this title, this release, than just adding a singular car. This is not just that single piece of DLC update. Walk us through a little bit. What makes 2023 different? What can people expect when they upgrade from 2022?
Yeah, I think one of the sort of gameplay changes that we added was tear-offs, and it's funny because we've had this sort of internal discussion more recently about how should tear-offs work and what button do you put them on and all the things that you're sort of figuring out when you do these design sessions, right? And as with anything, I'm sure you guys see it on the sim side as well, but you put something out and then it immediately gets good feedback, bad feedback, and people that defend you, people that don't necessarily
Everybody's
defend you.
Everybody's got an opinion, right?
They do, but the funny part was last night, so I'm listening to these guys and they're like, we're mostly controller based. I'd say 80% of our users use controller, probably higher than that. And it's thumb control, right? So the tear off button is the up arrow on the D-pad, which is literally right next to your left thumbstick. And so I'm watching these guys complain that I got to take my hand off the wheel to, take your tear off. And then some guy in one of the forums is like, you think it's actually easy in real life? Like drive a 410 sprint car, rip that thing off. And I'm like, yeah, what he said. So anyway, back to your question. So, that's one of the big gameplay changes that we added was tear-offs. And it's a very, I'll say, polarizing request. Like some people really want it. Other people were like, not necessarily as thrilled about it, but you can turn it off. You can adjust it. There's different numbers that you use based on, how long the races are and stuff like that. We have new tracks. So Lernerville, the Chili Bowl, which we talked about, Lincoln Speedway. It's a really good package for a really good value for the fans. I think you get an entire new series, 3 new tracks. Tons
of new drivers, right?
Yeah, in the sprint cars and late models, you get new drivers, new paint schemes, guys that maybe changed cars or updated their paint schemes from last year, stuff like that. So it's sort of a head-to-toe refresh. And the cool part is you don't lose, any of your career status or anything like that. You can actually keep your same career save. You can add midgets into your existing career. Everything is sort of able to adjust to what you've already got going on in the game. So it's really cool.
Yeah, that's a great summary of it. Oh, sorry. We're always talking over each other. That's part of the course here. Matt, but the other thing that, obviously we were talking about what came out, but what's coming, right? We've got another release coming October 3rd, I think. Is that right?
So we are putting the game on the Switch. Just market wise, we feel like there's an opportunity there, especially at retail. Fans probably notice that the Switch gets more and more shelf space at retail lately. And it's just, there's kind of a hole in that in that sector, I believe, on the Switch, where there's clearly some hungry racing fans over there, and there's not a whole lot of content that ends up doing the port. So we're doing that. The way that'll work is basically that game will release, as Kevin said, October 3rd is the date for that game. But it will have everything. So in one purchase, you will get the core game, all the DLC that we did last year, which would be the 2022 season pass, the 2023 update that we just released last night. So everything will be in that game, one purchase, all in the cartridge, ready to go.
And Kevin, if you want more information on some of the cars that are included in the game, we have a landing page that has a ton of good information, right?
We do. We built an entire website, not just a landing page, right? worldofoutlaws.game.com has everything. It's got all the content, cars, tracks, drivers. There's videos, teasers, so you can see how the gameplay looks. There's stories. There's, I guess we call them tournaments or challenges each week, and we put those up on there, things like that. So you can pre-order the Switch now as well, right from that site. So pick your retailer and go from there.
Yep, and we've got some car manuals on there too. Get you in the garage, get you familiar with what do the adjustments do. So while it's not quite the depth of iRacing, there's still a lot going on, and there's a lot you can do in the garage to really customize the feel of the car, and it makes a huge difference. You're already seeing some of these teams working together to really dial in their sets for these new tracks like Lernerville and Chili Bowl and whatnot.
Speaking of setups, maybe Matt could explain this. So there's a lot of talk when you read social media and stuff. People run their private leagues, this and that, and a lot of people say it's a slider league, right? So you see that all the time. Can you explain what that means? Because I see a lot of people try to explain it, and there's a ton of probably misinformation out there.
So I'll call it sort of a half step, right? If you think about the sim and the way that things are done on iRacing sim, you can get in there and adjust everything down to the finest detail. We have that level of detail as well, but we also have what's called a slider. And so the slider is literally one bar on the setup screen, and you can take it from most loose to most tight. There's, I believe, 6 or 8 different levels that you can slide that slider to. And so when people say slider only league, what they're saying is you can use the sliders to change the setup of your car. You just can't go into the super heavy detail page where you can change.
So you don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to go in and try to figure out, if I want to make the car tight, what springs do I need to change, or what do I have to do? You just slide it.
I personally would do more damage than good if I went to the I stick to the sliders myself because
I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, on iRacing, I mostly run fixed setup stuff because it's not my thing. I like to drive. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks. That's perfect because I just do see a lot of people like, oh, join my league, it's sliders, and people are like, what does that mean? Of course, we're sliding. It's dirt, right?
That's what I thought you meant. So I'm new here, though. Right?
Well, there we go. You learned something, Greg. Look at that. Successful podcast.
The more you know. All right. Well, Matt, thanks for taking the time today, especially right after the release. We know you have a ton going on, but yeah, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your time to really, let's be honest, put up with Kevin and I, and for being a good sport and being on camera on the podcast. And on that note, we'll get back to the show.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Kevin, he's a good sport. He really is a good sport. It's nice for him to sit down with him, learn more about the World of Outlaws title. Once again, Kevin, where can you pick that up?
Well, right now you can get the updates from the PlayStation or Xbox store, or you can go to worldofoutlaws.game.com, find out what retailers carry all the stuff, and you can pre-order the Nintendo Switch version there as well.
All right. Moving on, we got another special series this weekend we didn't touch on earlier. Just a reminder, BMW M Sim Cup featuring the BMW GTP and the BMW M4 GT3. Those are team races. They're going off this Sunday, August 20th. That round is at Fuji. Those have become bigger and bigger events with the VCO folks behind them and really putting on a great show.
Sunday. Yeah,
Thanks, Chris.
Those are such a blast. Hey, somebody had to jump in there and fill the dead space. But
hey, I appreciate it.
That was me, apparently, right? So
yeah, you're the VCO and BMW guy.
Well, I apologize. It is a great event, and yeah, you said it all. I have nothing to add.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we have covered the unabridged everything you need to know about the BMW M Sim Cup. If Florian and Timo are listening, you know,
Florian's
sorry.
on vacation, I heard, so I think we're safe.
He's always on vacation. So we'll have a track to announce coming soon, though. We have I believe the last round is TBD. We know what the TBD is. Can't say that yet.
We just talked about it in the marketing meeting, but we're not allowed to say it. Right?
Yeah, it was on an email that Kevin didn't respond to when he was on vacation, so I just made the executive decision and said that was okay.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
All right, moving on. Esports, Coca-Cola eNASCAR iRacing Series playoffs have begun. Chris, talk us through it.
Yep, playoffs are underway. We got 10 drivers, 4 spots in the championship 4 to go race on the stage at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. And after the first round of the playoffs at Michigan, 1 driver managed to punch that ticket. That is Garrett Lowe. He's been on a bit of a hot streak. Got wrecked a few weeks ago in his mind for the win at Nashville and has responded by being on an absolute tear. Won at New Hampshire, was running up front at the end at Pocono, and on 2 tires carved his way through the field through a couple of overtimes at Michigan. It's his first time making the championship 4, despite the fact that he has been in the playoffs 4 out of 5 times. So, a big step forward for him. Been very consistent with those playoff appearances, but it's going to be his first time racing with a shot at that $100,000. So, going to be really cool to see how he does.
Yeah, good time to get hot late in the year.
Great time to get
actually pays to get hot late in the year. Looking forward to see the other 3 that are going to punch that ticket. Always a good show. And the finals, Kevin, are in Charlotte, right?
They are in Charlotte at the Hall of Fame. We did it first time last year. They're in September this year, right? We moved it up the end of the season
September,
a little bit earlier. So looking forward to that. That's always it was a great event last year. It'll be a great event this year, I'm sure. It's really cool when we can get drivers up on stage, get a crowd out there. Drew and the whole production team do a great job of integrating, the live cameras there, and the crowds and all that. It's a great way to wrap up the season. So,
and a really big trophy, like really, really big trophy.
It's a large trophy. That is well said. Large.
Can it be picked up by one person? And also, is it not taller than Casey Kerwin, who won it last year? Like asking for a friend.
It can be picked up by 2 people.
Okay, so it is a 2-person trophy.
It's a 2-person trophy. So that's kind of cool, right?
I like it. We race for big
probably
trophies.
had to get a bigger house. I don't know where he would have put that.
I think it sits next to him when he's streaming.
It's in his stream every day.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's where I would put it. It's got his face on it. It's pretty cool. So we also have the World of Outlaws Butt Kicker late model series powered by iRacing. Cisco somewhere is smiling because I got that right the first time. Chris, talk us through it.
Yep. Evan C., still your driver to beat for the most part, but a few other drivers starting to excel right now. Kendall Tucker, your most recent winner at I-55. Logan Rumsey, now a first-time winner in the series. Blake Majula still running up there, has stumbled a couple of times, but he is still pushing there. He is still a threat to win every week. Mondays at 9 p.m. on Dirt Vision and the iRacing Twitch channel. Those drivers... C has been the driver to beat for quite a while right now, but he, there's some cracks in the foundation. Guys have been able to get past him for victories and drop him to second, drop him to third. And, you start getting hot in the second half of the season and you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're seeing that across all forms of racing right now, aren't we? Now we also have the iRacing Off-Road Series. That's wrapping up next week, and we got a heck of a title battle there as well.
Yes, we do. Defending champion Connor Berry still in the lead. Keaton Swain, who was runner-up last year, had been leading the points for quite a while, has had a couple of issues here and there, just things that have bounced him down the order. But really interesting. So the 4 top drivers, 2 of them were first and second in the points last year. 2 of them are 2 of the 3 top rookies that came in, Jarrett Liebert and Joel Blewett. So it's always interesting when you have a championship series like that, where half of the guys who are in the fight for the championship are the guys who have been there, and then half of them have never been there, haven't been at that level, haven't been that fast. So it's going to be really interesting to see in these final few rounds who is able to assert themselves. Wild Horse Pass is the first of the 2. and that's the smallest track on the schedule. It's the highest contact, and then it all wraps up at Crandon, the big house, the biggest track, the most prestigious track. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Connor Berry can do it again, if Keaton Swain can fight his way back, or if one of the two rookies can show them both up.
And then to wrap things up, and I'm going to get this wrong, Chris, so I'm just going to have you say the Turn Racing Series. You can do it.
It is the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing qualifying series that's wrapping up, correct? Production.
That's
Thank
correct.
you, Cisco. Thank you.
Thanks, Cisco.
Yep.
I hope that pops through on the broadcast. If it doesn't, it should.
That and the Porsche Tag Heuer eSports Super Cup qualifying series both coming down to the wire. We're going to have some really great new rookies in both of those championships. Those broadcasts have been popping up throughout the week as well. So if you're interested in seeing the future of our top open wheel and GT championships, that's where to look.
A lot of great racing and iRacing. That's something I don't think people really understand is the depth of esports offerings that we have, and then the number of championships and the size of the prize purse that goes out on a yearly basis. There's a great chance to run for the cash on iRacing. If you have the skill set, you can do it. So all of these are able. Anybody from the community can qualify in through the appropriate steps. These are not pre-qualified things. So something to pay attention for, especially going into 2024. If that's something that's interesting to you, check out the forums, find out more, and get involved. Get racing. We'd love to see you out there. But and on that note, I think it's time to let Chris go get his mattress.
Yeah, because the guy has called me twice and already texted me that he's going to be there in 3 minutes. So thank you for the warning
sweat
about the
coming
cough.
down your brow. That you're nervous, the anxiety, So get out of here. Thank you for sticking around, Chris.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the iRacing Downshift. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to an Apple Podcast, Spotify, and anywhere else Chris has put this thing. Probably YouTube now since we're on video.
And Twitch.
And Twitch.
And
Yes,
Twitch.
and Twitch. I should say that. Live on Friday, or not live, but on Twitch on Fridays. Drew and Cisco are putting this on Twitch. But for Kevin Bobbitt and Chris Leone, I am Greg West, and we will see you on Twitch. Take it easy.